Many people, the psychic world is full of intrigue, but we're going to try and dust away the cobwebs and uncover some of the mystery with our psychic guide, Mia Dolan. Now, yeah, Mia, lovely to see you. You was on last week. I think you're a lovely lady. But I just want to know is, when did you realise that you were first psychic?
Well, many people say that they become psychic when they're children. With me, it wasn't at all. And when I was 22, I wasn't sort of an atheist and very materialistic. And it was one afternoon, I was separating the kids from fighting in the lounge.
Oh, well, I'm with you there.
So I've gone and pulled them apart, and miles away watching the television. And the voice said in my ear, "Your toast is burning." You know, my very first spiritual experience was toast. And I went into the kitchen and the toast was burning.
You're joking.
So, being a sane person, I tried to rationalise it out. I must have remembered the toast, it wasn't really a voice and everything else.
Yeah.
And the voice just, over the next few weeks, started coming back. And many people say to me, "Oh, I bet you knew you were gifted at that point." And I said, "No, I actually went to see a doctor at that point."
Did you? Did you really
Yeah.
think you was going mad?
I mean, most people, if you start hearing voices, would start to question your sanity, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? After tests and seeing doctors and psychiatrists and everything else, I was pronounced sane but strange. And it took about 18 months from there to find somebody who could give me advice on
Right.
it. That's how it started.
And that's how you worked on it. Do you have a lot of experiences? You know, over the... When did you say you started? When 22?
Oh, a long time ago.
What
yeah.
sort of experience have you had?
I think that I'm particularly lucky that my abilities go through a full range. In the beginning, they were very frightening. One occasion was a Sunday lunchtime, or just before lunch, and I was putting washing on the line. The children were playing in the garden. It was a lovely day. I'd been out on the Saturday night, so it was a little bit tender. And as I was pegging the washing on the line, the garden went and I was on the side of a mountain.
Oh, Lord.
And I could look around and there'd been a plane accident. And I could see the debris, I could smell it, I could taste it. And I could actually turn my head around and look at where I was. And it lasted about 30 seconds. Now, that doesn't sound a long time, but it felt a long time. So like any sane person, once I was back in the garden, I went straight to my mum's. "Oh, Mum, you know, I'm definitely losing the plot now." And she said, "You're overtired, the children have had you up, you slept on your feet, etc." And I liked that explanation, so I went home and was fine. And that night on the news, it was said there'd been this plane accident, and it happened at the time I saw it. And that was just one of many.
Good grief.
But it was...
I know you've lost your brother and
Yes.
your son. Now, there was some sort of experience that happened with your brother. Would you like to tell us about that?
My brother died 12 years ago.
Right.
But before he died, it was on the day my brother died, actually, it was his 25th birthday. And we were mucking around. And he was very interested in what I was working in and said, "If one of us dies early, let's come back and prove without doubt in life after death. Kick their guide out," because we was talking about guides before. "And what we'll do is we'll say to the other person what the people in the family have been doing that day." And 8 hours later, he was dead. He was murdered. So I expect him to come back at any moment and tell me. And two and a half years went by and he hadn't been back. And I started to think, well, he would come back. If anyway, he would come back. And then one night I was doing a reading for a lady and was deeply into the reading, and I suddenly saw him standing next to her. And his nickname for me was Ree. He always called me Ree. He said, "Oh, hurry up, Ree, I haven't got long, haven't got long." So quickly finished the lady. And he said, "Right, Mum dropped some keys down the drain today. Jed fell over at work." He was going through all the different people in the family. He said, and he was there about 2 to 3 hours. So what's it like? What's it like? And "It's okay, it's okay, but I'll be back." And he went. So I was straight on the phone to the different people in my family, and it was right. It was right.
Really? He was right?
But it took 2 years and 8 months to come back.
Good grief. Now, I mean, we talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people that do say they're psychic have had tragedy in their life, like losing a brother or a son. Do you think this is how you become psychic? If you've had a tragedy like that, it triggers it off?
I think that if you're going to work in the field of a psychic, then you're going to be touching people who are going through pain or turmoil. And I think that you couldn't really understand or be in empathy with them if you haven't experienced something like it. But I also think, yes, most people become psychic or have an extra awareness if they go through a trauma, but only if they go through it without bitterness at the other side.
I mean, looking at it the other way, could it be that they're actually wishing, you know, they miss him so much that they're wishing that they could see him, and that's the case?
Maybe, but it can be other trauma that brings it on. It doesn't necessarily mean the bereavement of somebody. Somebody could have a breakdown, or they could be divorced, and it's almost as if a lot of mental pain at the end of it comes an extra awareness.
Right. I want to ask you about your guide, because you've got a guide. Is he called Eric?
Eric, the one that started talking about the toast. Yeah.
So, I mean, how do you know so much about Eric? Because you do know a lot about him.
Because I've had these conversations with Eric in the beginning when I first started communicating with him. I remember being in my lounge talking to the air, to all intents and purposes, thinking if I was on candid camera I'd be nutted off. And I'd ask anything I asked, he could answer. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But he was around, I believe, in the 14th century,
Right.
if I remember correctly. He is about 5'6".
Do you actually see him?
I can occasionally see him.
Right.
Wears an old robe with a bit of rope around it, very old, a little bit of hair and a very proud nose and very blue
bless
eyes.
him. Oh, and he's with you all the time?
Yeah. I once said to him, why me? Why not a nun or somebody who's very spiritual? Why me?
Yeah.
So I'm as bemused as you are.
So he's got a sense of humour as well.
Yes, definitely.
Well, that's nice. Well, thank you, Mia. But with Mia, I should say, we'll be chatting to you later on, because you're going to do a reading for us, aren't you?
I'm looking forward to it.
And so am I. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Well, welcome back. It's time for a reading with psychic Maria Dolan and viewer Gregory O'Connor. Well, it's lovely to meet you, Gregory.
Lovely to meet you, Eve.
And you've got a question, haven't you? Well, a general sort of question.
A general
for
sort
Mia.
of question, yeah, about career and how the future is going to develop, what I can expect from the future,
Right.
you know, hopefully.
Right. So,
Good to meet you.
what?
Hello, Greg.
Hiya.
Firstly, it has to be said, what I'm picking up from you is that you're terrible at changing your mind, that you think that's really the path you want to go on, then you change your mind and you're not sure again. Would you agree with this?
That's true.
Yeah. And I think that you've been feeling as if you've been wasting your time, as if you're treading the same path, that you're not achieving anything. And no matter how hard you're working, doors aren't opening for you. But I think it's coming because you're not being brave. I think you've been staying in a business or something you're used to doing for a long time, and it's a safe world for you.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
I think you also work in a male-dominated area, probably work with your hands and things.
What do you do as a job?
Construction at the moment.
And is it all men?
Mostly, you get one or two ladies, but
Not many.
not many, no.
No, I think that you should be playing with an idea of setting something up on your own. And I think that there should be a guy that's quite close to you as a friend that would want to do it with you. But you've played with the idea and not sure if to do it or not. Now, there's talk of a contract coming up that would give you the ability to go for it, but it doesn't give you the security straight away that you like, because you do like financial security.
Are we right there?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I predict the future part for this is that you are actually going to go off on your own to do something with somebody else. I think you're still going to stay roughly in the construction field, but be more your own boss. I think it's time now to use the trade that you've learnt to your advantage. I see you might have to change a vehicle soon. I don't know what you've done, but I do see a change of vehicle unless you've just changed it. Have you just recently got one?
October.
Maybe not, then it may still another one coming in. Do you have a van at the moment?
No.
Oh, well, I do see a van coming in. That will probably need a bit of work doing on it, so it's not a new one. But that's coming in. But the nice thing here, even though you're going to have a worrying time financially in the next few months, only because there's no guarantees there, I don't see any real big problems. You've also got a nice relationship base around you. It's not going to go wrong. I don't see anything bad happening on relationships. So whereas a lot of people can go off on a tangent when they fall in love and they can forget about career, you're going to be career orientated. But it really is now time to take the plunge and not be scared, because you've got to try it. You've got to speculate to accumulate.
Go for it.
Yes, definitely.
Is there anything else that you want to ask me?
I saw a picture when I had a dream the other night, and it was a Victorian-looking fella. And I just wondered who he was, or if you knew.
Was this more to do with when you're drifting to sleep?
Yeah.
Because when on the moment of drifting, it's when everybody becomes the most psychic. It's their most psychic time.
Really?
And as you're floating just before sleep, we often get pictures, even people who aren't psychic, of things that aren't their memories, that they haven't put in there. And this is also when you can get contacted.
Yeah.
And I think if you suddenly get a face pop, just straight in front of your face, that's a visit. Could be a relative, but maybe a guide. So it's not scary, isn't it? If it was a scary thing, you'd feel awful.
Yeah.
But you probably just felt surprised.
Yeah.
You didn't feel scared, did
No,
you?
no, just a visit.
And did you sort of wake up straight away? Or?
Yeah, I woke up, but I didn't feel uncomfortable or
No.
anything like that.
Right.
Just woke up and thought, just...
Yeah. And has it happened since?
No, it's only happened recently, so...
Right.
And what's really nice about this, that when you start to get visits, they can actually have the ability to tranquilise you nearly, as if to make you feel okay. You don't feel as scared as you think you would. So it's nothing to worry about at all.
Well, I hope that's helped you.
Yeah, that's
and
been
thanks
smashing.
for coming in, and thanks, Mia, that was brilliant. Thanks
Thank
again.
you very much.